What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. That is Mike Fuji up top. I am Al Norfleet, and together we are at the 50 with Fuji and Fleet. And our guest today is a former Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver, number 82, Cris T Jones. How are you, Cris?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me this evening. I'm doing awesome. I can't get excited for the upcoming season like everybody else in the U.S.
Yes, sir.
When
Yes,
football
sir.
season come around, people, the Saturday and Sunday, they get a little pep in their step.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming on, Cris. We deeply appreciate it. Last minute, 9 days away to the Eagles kicking off the 2024 campaign. Let's get fired up. Cris T Jones in the house. Welcome,
Hey.
Cris. Thanks again. Pumped up for this, baby.
Hey,
Yes,
you
sir.
made me
Yes,
feel
sir.
like I'm about to run out some smoke like I used to back in the day.
We're going to run through this wall like Doc did.
I hear that.
No.
Gang.
Yeah, I'm gonna start this thing off, Cris. You were drafted in 1995 in the third round, correct?
Yes, correct. I
Okay,
thought I was
what-
gonna get drafted earlier than that, but you know how that is.
Right.
How do you know the agents and some of the personnel from different teams get in your ear, making you feel like you're more than what you are. Well, it's all about it don't matter what round you go, it's just what you can produce on the field when you get in that league. That's just like it stands for not for long if you don't produce.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you came out of University of Miami, the Hurricanes. Who were some of the guys you played with there that was in the league?
Oh man, my crew. Oh, I had a. You got to remember, my crew. That's when we was elite at that time. So my crew was from. You got from. I had a Heisman Trophy. My quarterback. Well, one of the quarterbacks at my time was Gino Toretta. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. My mentor at the time, my big brother was Lamar Thomas. Part of the Ruthless Posse. You got to remember, I had Warren Sapp, the young Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp came out in my draft. I had DeRock Johnson, Dwayne Dewey, Rock. He was there with me. You had Ray Lewis. He came out like a year afterward. Even the guy that was behind me, Yatil Green, my young pup. He was a beast also. He was a top 15 pick the following year, next year after me. 2 years after me, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we had some players. We had during my era, I was one of I hate to say it, I was one of my class was the one that messed up our streak in the Orange Bowl. We won 56 straight home games during the time. So you know how hard that is. And then I was in the 1995 Orange Bowl. We ended up losing that to Nebraska. They ended up coming back on us on the second half. That was Tom Osborne's first national championship for Nebraska. So I won one national championship while I was there, but I had opportunities of winning almost three.
Right.
So we had lost against the Sugar Bowl against Alabama. So we had some good times there. We had some great athletes coming through at that time.
Yeah, I hear you.
And it's looking like we're getting back to that form too. So I'm very proud of Coach Mario Cristobal. I was there playing during the time when Mario was there, the head coach at the University of Miami. So it's some great times there. I try not to miss any home games lately. I've been going, so I'm very excited about this season coming up.
Right.
Cris, you were drafted in 1995 by the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you played with Ricky Waters, and I know Irving Fryer a year later.
Yes.
I mean, you had John Gruden as your offensive
coordinator. Yes, was the best.
Detmer. You played with Thunder and Lightning, Charlie Garner. Can you go back to those days in 95, 96?
Yes, definitely can. I know when I came in there, that West Coast offense. I remember it was the West Coast offense, and I came from a spread offense, a two-back offense. But that was one of the main reasons why it was tough for me to get on that field right away. It wasn't because of my ability. It was just Coach John Gruden was so detailed, and he was making sure that if you're not comprehending those plays, and he said that being ran perfection. That one thing, he was a perfectionist. And if it wasn't ran precise and perfection in practice, you ain't getting on that field. So once I started learning that offense at the end of the year, that's when you guys started seeing me at my end of my year in 95, started getting a lot of playing time. But that's one thing I did say when I came in there. Once I started learning the offense, unfortunately, I knew that the guys that was ahead of me, they won't be back that next year. And I showed that they wasn't back that next year. So that went in, they brought in Irvin. And me and Irvin did something special when he came in. Not long ago, they just broke that tandem record. Me and Irvin. We had that for a long time as two receivers with the tandem with the yards and touchdowns and catches that we had produced from the 96 year. And it is great that tandem that they got there right now is special with the Eagles. Them boys are some dogs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was hanging out with Irvin and Hollis a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
when they was getting ready for their vetting show.
They show. Yeah, man, they got a great show, and I hope everyone support you guys showing on top of supporting their show also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My running mates was back then was Bobby Gardner. I mean Bobby Taylor and Charlie Gardner.
Yeah,
those are my boys. That's my group. My boy, I came in, me and Bobby, Mike Mamula. That was a draft I came in with.
Right.
And then Charlie was there before us, year before us, but that was my running mates. That's one thing. Us three, I mean, we did everything together. And we made sure that we stayed. We was hard on each other as teammates to anything, because we really felt like us three was special. And it showed, without injuries, from my injury standpoint. But Bobby had a great career in Charlie.
Cris,
Mike?
Just to go back, 1995, Randall Cunningham was the quarterback, Rodney Peete the backup. What do you think back then? I mean, was it Randall's heart just wasn't in the game anymore, or just, I don't know,
No, I don't see it that way, because I spent a lot of time. He spent a lot of time with me as a rookie, Randall. That's one thing that he did pull me up under his wing. I spent a little bit more time with Randall than my own receivers, because coming from Miami, University of Miami, that's one thing that we are very close. That's why you see, especially back in those days, that the way that we played, we looked at each other. We wasn't a team. That's all it was. Everybody outside our team, we didn't give a damn about. And that's the thing about with the receiver core, that when you was in that film room on the practice field, we helped each other. And that's kind of it was tough for me to learn my rookie year, because you understand it as a rookie, it's a job. And first off, it was a job. And I had to learn that the hard way, because you got to understand, a lot of the veteran players, especially as the receivers, they weren't really open to helping you, because, hey, they got a family they trying to feed. Well, that's what it was tough for me to understand. And that's one thing I love about Urban Fry. When he came there, he took me under his wing. It's nothing against Fred Barnett, wasn't against Calvin Williams. I can understand some. They was there to a certain extent, but they wasn't there like Fred. I mean, for Urban. Urban took me from under his wing day one. I know they had me rooming with Irvin. I know I was one of those rookies, and my second year player, I still, I like to go out a little bit. I was young, trying to get, spread my wings, learn Broad Street, doing my thing, hanging out a little bit. And that's one thing that Urban, he was one thing I can tell you. He really was taking me on his wing to that, knowing that, hey, he was there before. Because he did all the part of his New England days and all of those days. And it was great for him. He used to be on too. I can recall coming into the meetings. He'll sit by me. He'll be sniffing me and smelling me like a hound dog to see if I was checking him. Where you been at? Well, let me see if you why you looking tired? What time you came in? All the kind of. It was very tough. And then you had John Gruden in practice. he looking at you in the huddle, making sure that your eyes looking bright-eyed and you're in the film room. Yeah, oh man, it was intense. Cause I can remember one time I got a drunk ex. Because I had hung out one night and it was tough one day at practice. But I got through that practice and I learned the hard way when you got them big fines.
Right.
Back then, it can cost you $5,000 a minute, depending on how Coach Rose wanted to do it.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. The secretary calling, waking me up. And Chris, you know we got work today, and it's like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. I'm going to work. I said, I can't imagine what they're gonna do to me. So you know, I got here for like about $12,000 that day.
Wow.
But you learn quick.
Oh yeah.
Hands on.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get this question a lot, but I'm going to ask this. You played on that vet turf. I'm sure that was like playing on concrete. And
yes.
Can you explain a little bit, just, playing
like concrete? That's one thing. I remember growing up, my mom had the patio. You got that green, a regular
that
patio
green turf on the patio.
That's a slab of concrete. You just had that green carpet just put over it. That's it. It wasn't a cushion in it. You got to remember the way these fields now are. I guess the maintenance of it. That place should have been outlawed anyway. Everyone know that how bad the Veterans Stadium was, especially now. I'm not talking about the fans and all of that, but that everyone knows the history of that field.
Yeah.
Remember, I forget that one receiver. Remember, one of them blew out both knees at one time.
Bears.
Yep. So you can understand that's where I ended up getting myself messed up on during a preseason game. After my strong year, my second year, I was going into a big year, my third year, and I was really being a contract year. That I was stepping up, trying to be a Pro Bowl player. And I knew I was on the verge of being that until that injury. That at the time I didn't think that I can get over because my legs are bow-legged and the injuries was inside and under my kneecap from the bow of my leg. And they didn't understand that at the time until I went out to Dr. James Andrews in Birmingham, Alabama. He had did my surgery. He had to do the Steckman picking. So that's when they drill like 80-something holes in your kneecap to make it bleed. Because the doctors at the time, they was giving me arthroscopic surgeries. And the arthroscopic, they kept going in my knee. And you know what they're doing? They just kept taking from it. Then I was bone on bone. And it was tough for me to come back from that injury. But John really gave me an opportunity to go out to Oakland. And then the injuries hit from out there too. I just couldn't come back from it due to the Veterans Stadium, that carpet. So that's where it all started at.
Right.
So,
now, I was involved in one game several years ago. I drive for the Eagles, and it was a preseason game, and we had the Baltimore Ravens in there, and both coaches walked the field and decided we're not playing on this field, and so they canceled that game. And that was so many fans was out there. They was throwing bricks and stuff at the buses. Like we made the decision to cancel the game.
But I just like, hey, boy, it was a Philly game.
Oh,
it was a home game.
Yeah. Actually, this was a 2000.
That don't surprise me. They don't surprise me. Boy. I love them fans, boy. It's nothing like Philly fans.
Right.
Nothing like
it was a 2001 season because I was at that game. Where the Ravens, Brian Billick came out, and I believe the field was torn up around where third base was.
Yeah.
You could see
because that's where they had part of the pitching things going on there. Yeah.
Right. And the Ravens were, Brian Billick and the Ravens refused to play. And then Andy Reid came out, and it was, game was just canceled just because of, the turf.
Yeah.
Which was
very sad.
Now, I just lost my train of thought. But okay, what I was about to say was I got a little small story with John Gruden.
Sure.
Now, they closed the vet down, I think, in 03.
Yeah.
And that's when Gruden beat us in the NFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then the next year, we're at the link, and Tampa was first team in. So they beat us there. So we're on the way to the airport, and Gruden sits, head coach sits right to the right of me.
Yeah.
And the owner was sitting behind him, Mr. Glazier.
Uh-huh.
So Gruden looked at me, then he looked at Mr. Glazier, said, "Hey, Mr. Glazier, we kicked the ass to close down the vet, and we kicked the ass to open up the link." And he looked at me and laughed. He don't know how mad I was, man.
That sounds just like it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I saw he used to talk about when he used to come there because John, he was a perfectionist. Coach Gruden. He probably never went home because he usually at work like 4:30, early 5 in the morning every day. And that one thing when he used to come in front of me, he have his cup of coffee. He say, "Shit, this damn dirty dump. The rats are bigger than cats." And all of that, but we gonna win in this motherfucker today. We gonna get some good work in. We gonna bring them in. We gonna make sure that rats is okay, and we gonna win a football game this week.
Old Chucky. I remember seeing it. I remember an interview saying with Chucky, and like he was interviewing the quarterbacks when he was with ESPN, and he said he would sleep over, in his office overnight, not go home for days, just studying film, putting plays together. And Chris, when you first met, your tenure with John Gruden, could you just naturally see he was going to be a head coach someday?
Oh, you knew that from day one. The way that he orchestrated things, the way that he can gravitate to players, and that's one thing he was great at. Getting the best out of you, He knew how to push buttons. He knew I can recall that the film that he dissected, so much film that he loved because he was a receiver coach over at Green Bay at one time, and he started out at San Francisco. He was there with the Wallstrom, I think. And he used to always show me film of Jerry and how they ran routes, how precise they were. And he used to love Sterling Sharp too. So before Sterling got hurt, Sterling was a great route runner. That's one thing that he always did was he was a film study. He was a nerd about it, man. And he was contagious. And that's one thing that if you want a player that understood the work ethic and what he expect out of you, you won't be around him. You won't make it around him. And that's one thing that it is sad that football need him. And I just hate that he's out the game right now for what he's out, for the reasons why he's out. I know that from being around him, I know that that's the things that were said about him, that content. I never experienced that. I know I could go on record that he's the best I ever been around in that regard. He had the best for myself and my family. And I really appreciate him to the day that I carry that work ethic, what I have now, and I learned from him in the real world today where I'm at work now. That's one thing that I always cherish about him. He always did the best for me and my family. And I salute him for that.
Now, speaking of your work now, you are a director of operation at Seaside. That's a Bayon Treatment Center.
Yes, sir.
If I were to say to you, what is Found My Bottom about? How would you talk about that?
Ooh, find your bottom. It's a lot of bottoms. When you find your bottom, because you got to understand, I'm over Seaside. It's a high-end treatment center. It's for executive treatment center. And, I get some of the trust fund babies. I can get some professional athletes. I can get retired athletes from many from the NBA, NFL, MLB. I had some of the biggest artists don't come through there. You got to understand when you have when you have that type of stature of clout of different executives or different athletes like that with that kind of money, that it's hard for them to find a bottom. Once they find a bottom that they don't have nobody to turn to, and it's just them, and that everything is look like it's crashing down. Ain't nobody there no more. Your wife leaving you, or you might have lost your job. You got nobody to turn to, and you just tired. You're just tired, man. When I say you're tired, you're just tired. And the only thing you turn to somebody, if you believe in your higher faith, believe in God or some type of faith spiritually that you turn to, and then you got some people like as myself that is there for you to understand that, hey, I had some darkest moments when I had left the NFL, from the prescriptions, the drinking and all of that. And that's one thing that I can relate to them and try to make them understand that, hey, you're not here alone, man. That you do have some people, you have a teammate here that can help you get through it. But the thing is, you're gonna have to help yourself get through it first. Cause
right.
I can't be your crutch. That's the thing about it. A lot of these athletes and a lot of these executives, or even the trust fund kids, that people not letting them find their bottom. You already got somebody there that lean on. That's one thing I tell parents or loved ones, hey, you got to let them find it. They're gonna have to want it. You can't want it. You can't want it for them. That's all you being a for them. If you keep paying for them to be here. I have somebody the other day I learned months ago, from the complete treatment, I buy you $1 million condo. Who does that? You know what I mean? You just enticing him to have a $1 million crack house. He don't want to do that. He just gonna do enough just to get that. And they say, you calling me to come fly up there and come get him, and you rewarding this behavior. You don't reward behavior. You help them gain that respect and gain their identity again. And that's the thing I would be telling other people: let them find their bottom. Once they find their bottom, then they'll put the work together. Then they'll find ways to crawl out of that, and then you'll see a different change in them.
Right. The reason I asked about that, because you are the third athlete that I have talked to interview. One was my best friend back from the 70s. He was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, and he went through that, and he was telling me that it was so bad he got as small as a stop sign, and the next guy, I think he was in your area, Tony Collins, that played with the New England Patriots. He went through the same thing, and he hit rock bottom to the point where he almost died laying on the ground. But he came through it, and they're progressing nowadays and doing a wonderful job at life and helping other people. So when I read that about you, that's the only way I wanted to bring it up, because I remember those other two guys, and everybody that I talked to that had went through that came through it. And one of their missions now is to help other people to see where they are, to try to bring them forward.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a lot of awareness out there, man. That it's a lot of people that's right now that needs the help, unfortunately, and that a lot of households are very sensitive of those subjects, that their loved ones is needing the help right now, but that it's a disease, and that disease is ruining families as we speak right now, and that understanding that if you got a loved one out there, man, please don't turn your head towards it, cause if you seeing the signs, you really need to go out there and really help them, and help them find the help, cause it starts from the mental state. And then that mental state, once the mental state start crashing, they feel like nobody's giving a damn, they're going to get worse. You can't turn a blind eye. If you see it, you need to address it if you love them.
Mike?
Chris, saw a video recently of you, how you, hit the wall, and then you basically, pulled yourself out of it, which, is amazing today, because like you said in an interview, you got to want it yourself. Like, you can't do it. you can't do it for your parent, your child. You know, at the end of the day, it's, you know, you got to want it. And, you know, props to you for doing, you know, all the work you're doing today. And
I really appreciate it, man. You know, that's one thing. I have a great team. To be honest with you, the treatment center is really like having you run a football team. To be honest, the camaraderie. Once you have one of the patients that come in through the gates that you know they lost, they need someone to guide them and pick up their pieces. Cause you gotta understand when you're coming through them gates, you're already feeling like crap. You're feeling like everything is against you, or you're mad, or you might be going to a divorce, you might be losing your job, and you know, all different things can be going through your mind. But that's the thing that I love about my team. We get together, we understand what this guy, what this is paying for one, and what this person is here for. And that's one thing we got to do is just rally around them. It's like when you're in a huddle, or you don't leave no teammate behind. You know, hey, we trying to do that, and it's a fourth quarter. 2-minute drill. Hey, we down 4 points. We got to punch that thing in. And guess what? Everybody's in that huddle locked in. That's the way I run the team, and that's why I look at addiction as when I was playing football. You know, you got to be on detail, and you got to be there to want to work hard and love what you do. You know, that's one thing. You can't be around me just wanting to check. That's just like it is when you're playing football. You're like, hey, man, you got to earn that check. I remember the time I was telling someone earlier today. I can remember we had lost the game when we against the West Coast team. I think it was Arizona, my rookie year. I'll never forget that. You know, it was, I don't know. It was me, Rondo, I think, coming to get our check stubs. I was getting a live check. I ain't know nothing about no deposits then. All of that. So I remember Ray Rose was there. We had lost the game. He asked each one of us, he's there, do you think you earn your check? He actually, they're giving out your check. He said, do you think you earn your check? You know, of course, I'm like, I'm not going to say yes because I'm coming from University of Miami. You know, if you lose a game, hey, we all suck it. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be no I in team. I'm like, hey, if you want me to donate this check, we can go out there and practice right now. I know I'm going to get 110% for this next game, which I always try. And I hope that my other teammates do. That's all I can see what he was meaning about when he was asking, do you think you deserve your check? That woke us up. And we went on a nice little win streak too, as a team. Because he made you understand, hey, this is a business, man. Hey, you can't be thinking that we're gonna win or lose. You lose and you're gonna be coming to get these checks like this. And it did wake the team up, because you can see that it was a lot of urgency in our practice that week. And I think we had Dallas. I think we ended up beating the Cowboys that week. Sure did. And I can understand what he meant about that.
I don't want to interrupt anybody. We do have a couple folks checking in. We have, I don't know if I'm saying this, Moni Bentley saying go Birds. My friend Tom Fogarty, hello all. Thanks for checking in, folks. Back to what you were saying about Ray Rhodes. I have a question.
Sure.
December 95, Dallas comes in. Barry Switzer decides to run the ball on 4th and 1. Not once, not twice. The 2-minute warning 3 times. Now, I believe the speech he gave to the locker room was basically Dallas was going to come in and try to rob your house.
Yeah,
I know it was like some type of pep talk, but I was at that game. When that defense shut down Emmitt Smith 4th and 1 3 times, that place erupted like a volcano. Eagles went on to win that game 20-17. We stuck it up Dallas's asses, and it was season's beatings. Let me fast forward there. 1996 on the road. I believe the Eagles were up. Dallas driving. Right in the end zone, picked off by James
Troy Vincent.
and lateral to
lateral to Troy Vincent, your boy, the middle linebacker.
That's not once, but 2 years
Yeah.
in a row.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember it was a great picture of me and Bobby Teller on the field running. I remember they had a nice picture of us.
Right.
Yeah, that was huge that game, man. That when we made a nice run. Then we had lost up in San Francisco. That one thing, Ray Rose was a great coach, man. And you got to think about it. Him and Gruden, they just had free agency and then two drafts. Then we still was getting in the playoffs.
Well, you played with Brian Dawkins and Trotter.
Yes, I played with Brian Dawkins. I played with
Trotter.
I knew he was going to be special when he came in. When he came in, I knew he was going to be special from day one.
Yeah, guys like Mike Zordich and
Greg
Jackson.
Yeah.
In that secondary, you had Bill Romanowski, Kirk O'Bale, William Fuller.
Big William, what was William? Big William, the defensive end.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuller
we had some right. Oh yeah. We had what was his name? Richard Dent. I used to go out with Richard Dent. Old man Richard Dent. Big Richard Dent, man.
85 Bears.
Yep. Yeah, we just call him Old Man Dent. He used to do his thing. I used to go to Atlantic City with them boys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then we had God rest in peace, our fullback. Yeah, he was great too.
Played with Kevin Turner. God rest his soul.
Great Kevin Turner, rest in peace. Yeah, he was a hard-nosed player too. He spent a lot of time with me also.
Cris, two more. Oh, go ahead, Al.
So you knew the traveling secretary, or what was that Tracy at the time, or was it somebody else for the Eagles?
Man. I'm sorry, Mr. Al. I can't remember that traveling secretary.
No, okay. Yeah, because the reason I said it because I know they had a thing for Kevin Turner that I went to several years ago with I guess a movie or something they had about him. And she was a secretary. She was the one that I met when I started with the Eagles in 2000. And that's the only reason I asked that. But anyway, since it's this time of the year, just want to ask you a couple of things with the players, with the 53-man roster being set, and now the practice squad is being set. As a player, on that day before everything was set, how was it nerve-wise?
Oh, great question. It's nerve-wracking, especially for the ones that's on the bubble. Even when you feel like, when you know that you was a high draft pick and all of that, you seeing that you was being in the midst, you pretty much knowing that you're making a team, but you don't know your rotation though. That's the thing about that really mind-boggling for you. And then you got to understand, even the guys that you with throughout training camp, all the personalities that you work with, all the sweat, all the grind, all the hit, and you're spending a quality time. You want big family, and then you see these people leaving you each and every other day, and all of that, and it get mind-boggling. It can get to your psyche, and then once you do make the team, you still ain't make the team because you still interviewing every week,
right?
Because you know what I mean. So what I used to tell rookies that come in, and then I was told, like, hey, young blood, you might have made the cut, but you still got to work every week because they bring come work out here on Mondays after games, and Tuesdays on off day. You'll see somebody working out for your position every week.
Right.
So that letting you know in your mind, you need to stay on your A game. That's one thing I started learning how to be a pro. Once you start learning how to be a pro and understand the approach of the game, those are the ones that be special. Those are the ones that stay in the league long. They learn how to take care of their body. They learn how to eat. They learn how to get their rest. They learn how not to hang out. That's one thing I always tell young guys that's going into the league. Like, hey, man, wait till you finish your your career to be doing all that crazy stuff.
Right.
But right now, you dare to Jamaica it's less than 1% make it. Don't get it in and just make it, and then you just say, "Hey, that's it." No, that's one thing that I wish I'd have did a lot different when I first came in. I'd have approached the game a lot different. I'd have been more hungry in that essence. So that's one thing I try to tell young players today. That it's not guaranteed because you made the team. You got to interview for that every week, and that's serious.
Just like the initial said, NFL, huh? Not for long, right?
Not for long. That's true. That's true.
Somebody
out there. That's right. Somebody doing something extra right now. Somebody stretching right now. Somebody eating right. Somebody getting their rest. Well, you still got the knuckleheads out there want to party. They gonna go get them girls. You got to understand them girls gonna be there when you finish playing, brother.
Yeah.
I remember back in, this was probably within the last 10, 12 years, maybe longer. When the NFL had like Deion Sanders and a bunch of other guys, they would bring the rookies in. I don't know if it was before they got drafted or was it post-draft, but, they would teach them, like, how to not squander their money, be careful of, like, all the women out there and just partying atmosphere. Did you have that? Did the NFL do that back then, or was it like you said? Right.
Yeah, but they had not really like not in my era. We didn't have that. Coach Rose will have some people come by. He'll have like people come by and talk to us as collectively, but we really have the rookie symposiums like they have now. That they have that they have to go to. I'm glad that they started doing that, but that'd have been a big help coming out in '95, because you got to remember. Well, you needed that for the veterans too. You see how the Cowboys was; they had their own little thing going on back then. Hey, one thing I love about my big brother Mike Irvin. Mike them did some things up there in Big TV Town back then. Boy, they had their own little thing going on. Hey, one thing I can say, they party hard, but they won. They won championships. Yeah. So. And I guess he could be a little bit above the law in D-Town if you win a championship.
I mean, you watch the I think it's the ESPN 30 for 30 about the
man.
The whole.
That was G-rated.
I'm sure.
R-rated. They did the G-rated. They did R-rated. Oh my God.
I'm sure it didn't help with Luther Campbell / Luke Skywalker and 2 Live Crew back in the day. Back in those times.
Oh yeah, big time. That's one thing. Was a lot of people don't know during my era, during them times in the early '90s and mid '90s at University of Miami, we was bigger than the Dolphins. We was winning.
All right.
I can tell you, we used to help the Dolphins. We going in the clubs before the Dolphin player. They waiting in line. They letting us go in first.
Right.
That's how big the University of Miami was during my time.
I mean, I'm a big Jerome Brown fan, so I know when Miami played Penn State. I mean, when they wore the fatigues and they they were just just the bad boys and boys of college. Back in those days.
Oh yeah, them boys oh man, them days. I remember when they had went with Army. What it was when they played Penn State. Well, yeah, I think
1987.
They came with armor fatigues on.
Right off the plane.
Excuse me.
Matter of fact, JB was the leader of the pack.
Sure was.
Chris, I don't know if it's a 2-part question. Best player ever played with and the toughest player you ever played against?
Best player? Oh, good question. They got to be what? During my era? Yeah, during my era, what? On the Eagles?
Just your – let's say
best player I ever played against. That's what you asked? What's the two questions again?
Best player you played with and the toughest player you played against.
Best player I played with. Whoa. Pound for pound. Oh. I'm going to tell you, that Charlie Garner was special, man.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Garner was special, pound for pound. The things that you see that young boy, when he did on the field, man, in my era, when I was watching him, you like, whoa. And I played against. I'm gonna tell you, the best DB I ever went against was Aeneas Williams from back in the day. Went from
Arizona and the Rams.
And people say Dion, I'm talking about for pound, because Aeneas gonna come. He coming for run plays and pass plays. Dion ain't coming to hit nobody. That's one thing John Gruden used to teach us when we played Dallas. Keep a body on Dion. Don't let him rest. Don't let him rest. When we in run game. That's one thing that I love, because I took pride in being one of all-around receiver and wanted to make sure that I can be able to be a great blocker and be a great pass catcher also. That's one thing I was really concentrating and working on my game. And that's one thing I can say that, I got to repeat that. Urban Fryer was the best to me. The way he prepped his preparation. Urban Fryer, old man Pops. He was pound for pound the best I ever seen, because I had the opportunity of working out with him every day and seeing how he approached the game and how he took care of his body in his older ages, his older years, and him, no doubt. But I know I always my idol was Jerry Rice of growing up. And then with Michael Irvin, being at the U, those was my two idols. So I must say, yeah, I have to redo that one. Yeah, Urban Fryer when I was with the Eagles, and watching the overall game, but then Williams and Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin, if I can say that.
Right. Okay. Now, for the people out here that don't know a lot about football, and again, with this time of the year, people being released, people are being waived, could you tell them the difference between being released and the difference between being waived?
Oh, that's a good one. I guess when you release, you can get released for all different types of reasons. You can get released for contract reasons. You can be released for being a knucklehead. It's all what kind of ways of being released. You can be released for being detrimental to the team, being waived. That you can be waived for injury reasons. You can be waived for salary cap reasons. It's just different ways that you can be waived and released. So, but you can't cut out. You're just not a match for the team. Some that you just ain't fit. But that means that you don't give up, though. That's one thing I tell people, because if you think about it, if you work hard and put good film out there, somebody else on another team gonna see that film, especially if you play good against that team. They'll give you a look. So don't give up.
Right. What I was trying to get at, when you release, then you can sign, like you said, with other people.
Yes.
But when you waive, you have to clear waivers before that
you
can
got
happen.
to clear waivers. They'll pick up they'll pick up whatever you're doing until you clear waivers. I would rather you would rather want to be released. If I was a player, release me, for I can negotiate a whole new contract or whatever. And then you don't have to pick up whatever I had when I was and I'm stuck, because then you'll be sitting at home for a while till you clear waivers.
Chris, there was a game I believe you played against Washington. Now, it was a video clip or something I read where it said you ended up suffering a concussion earlier in the game, He went back in, I believe, scored a game-winning touchdown. Can you?
That was against the Jets.
Right.
It was
Okay.
it was cold that day, boy.
Jets.
Oh my God. It was cold. Oh man, I think what's the name caught me too. He always roaming that damn Marvin Jones. Yeah, he caught me.
Linebacker.
Marvin Jones. Remember the Florida State days going against him? But he the one caught me that day in New York. Oh, it was hurt. It hurt. I'm not gonna lie, gang. That was the time I ain't want to go back in that game. I was like, man, I really don't want to go back in this game. It will hurt. And I'll never forget the boys, Charlie Garner, bogging them. Like, and then you got Ray roaming the sideline like, goddamn Cobra, I need you back in there. I need you back in there. You got to get you back in there. You know, I'm concussed. Right. You know, back then they count your fingers. You know,
right.
Smelling sauce. And I'm looking at that game. I'm like, man, I'm looking around. I'm seeing my boys. Now when you have to gut check yourself, you got to suck it up. Now when I went in there and suck it up, I scored the touchdown right before the winning touchdown. Irv ended up winning that game for us, I think.
That's where he had the one-handed catch.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that it goes to show you that you do anything necessary for your team, man. Sacrifice.
Right.
One thing we used to do. Sometimes it can hurt you in the long run. Don't get me wrong. The sacrifice that you did back then. You know, it's a lot of our boys are hurting right now. You see a lot of these owners don't give a damn about them. And unfortunately, that I wouldn't change it again. I do it all over the same way, from every injury, from anything. I just love the game of sport and love the cover right up, being with my teammates. It's nothing like it. As you guys know, as sports lovers, and I'm sure you guys had played some type of ball in your days, when you was little or in high school, college, or whatever, that, you know, it's nothing like it. When I tell someone, they're like, Chris, how is it? I say, man, once you in our locker room with a bunch of guys and you come together, you gel together, it's priceless, man.
Yeah.
You form a bond that you'll be with the rest of your life. You know, and that's one thing. That blood, sweat, that's some true statement. When you're on a team, when you're going and your blood and that sweat, and you clock your hands together, you're going out there to fight and perform as a team. It's nothing like it, man. It's very special. And I have a lot of teammates that I have out there over the years. I had formed and been with, and I wouldn't change either one of them. It's a brotherly bond that I can cherish when I leave this earth. That's real.
A brotherhood.
Yeah, a real brotherhood. You cut, it ain't like cutting that blood and you bleed that same color. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's true. That's real. It sounds cliche, but it's real.
Now, speaking of concussion, you and a group of guys had got together to help promote the movie Concussion. Talk about that a little bit.
Yes, as you know, man, especially during our era, so you guys' era, you know how I concussed was, you was taught to lead and tackle with your helmet, and run use your helmet, and all of that. You go in full speed, use your helmet. All them days, you think about it, you didn't know nothing about getting your head ringed. That's what you used to call it, getting your head ringed, and all of that. And then guess what? The count of the fingers, smelling something. You tell me how many numbers you are, you get back in that game. I'm glad the way they go about it now. And to be honest, I don't feel like a kid. A kid should start playing football in high school if they really want to play it. I'm not a big fan of kids playing tackle football and little at this age, is
pop warning and stuff. Yeah,
and all of that. That's crazy. Play flag football. I'm seeing that some of these clippings, I be seeing some of that. I cringes. That's one thing. I know if I had a kid at this age, as a growing up, I wouldn't let him play until he got to high school. To be honest, because if you're gonna be special at, you can pretty much do some things. Ain't no scouts coming to look at you in no
right.
Ain't no scouts looking at you in no middle school. And then you risk injuries, head injuries. And then, you still ain't developed yet, especially with your brain and all of that. It's a lot of things that parents ain't understanding. And then a lot of these parents are living through their kids anyway.
Yeah,
Be watching that
yeah.
stuff. When you be seeing the clippings and all of that, and I'm like, what are you doing? That's why I can't even go watch the little kids play like that. Now I can go watch a flag football game. I can get the same enjoyment watching flag football and then I'm talking football game, to be honest. But if I was a parent, I wouldn't let a kid play at that young. So it's high school or not. That's my preference.
One, not to interrupt, I want to thank Natasha Outdoor for checking in. Cris, could you play in this era today? I mean, as opposed to playing back 30 years ago.
Man, heck, you see them contract them boys getting, you damn right I play.
Well, I'm just saying, like with the CTE and just all this.
Yeah.
Like you said, to me, it's hate to say it. I mean, they changed too many damn rules with Goodell, but I know it's more for safety, but it's more like flag football today. Which
it's true. It's true. It's true. But
sad.
That's the difference. See, you got to look at it from a fan base too. I know when our era, the fans love the big hits, boom,
right,
and all of that kind of stuff. But you got to understand, it's a lot of families are paying for that when they love one after those type of hits too. And then you got to remember some of those hits that the way that it was back in the day. A lot of those players not with us today due to those type of hits.
Oh,
so it's I'm glad that they really policing it right now. Because it's entertainment. You got to understand. I understand it's entertainment, but you got to remember, you got loved ones got to come off that football field to go home to their loved one. They provide for their family. And you got to understand, you just can't have that game being violent the way it used to be. The game we got too violent. So I'm kind of glad, I'm one of those guys that, don't get me wrong, I used to love to see the big hits and the way that you use your helmet, the build the trucking on the big running bikes, the way they used to do it, what's his name? Eddie George and all the big boys, how they used to
right.
So, in the bus, but you gotta understand. Trust me. They really being honest with you, their body is paying for it right now, trust me.
Yeah.
Right.
So now, being that you're saying those type of things, I would take it that you are in favor of this new kickoff rule now.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt about it. Well, I want to know from you guys. Y'all been watching the game before me. What do y'all think?
You're about a year older than I am, so.
Yeah, but both of you about 20 years younger than me.
Do y'all like that rule or no?
I'm old school.
I do simply because, like I said, I think it would help take some of the big hits out of there. Yeah, and like you say, you may have some old school guys or guys that had been seeing the old school stuff. Well, I'm gonna go down here and put this helmet on, even though they know you shouldn't.
That's true.
I think it takes a lot out of it. So I'm all for it. And compared to what it used to be in the last 2 or 3 years, I think it's a little bit more exciting now too, because kicking the ball into the end zone and you coming out to the 20, it's no excitement in that.
It's true. And Mike, I see that you're against it, Mike. You want to see them running the big hit.
I don't mind it, but it's just, if you really look at it, like just to what Al said, they kick off, they catch it, fair catch, and basically the special teams guys go back to the bench. But I'm a throwback, so to me, I just don't like all this tweaking here, this, that, every other, like, just.
And you feel like it's taken away from the game of football?
Not so much with the kickoff, but to me, it's always something else, like year after year. Like they tweak this, they tweak it over here. Like, just play football. I respect and get the whole protocol with safety, with the CTA, but, the throwback with, Dawkins, even before that, Seth Joyner, Reggie White, Jerome Brown. Just with Ronnie Lott, the guy cuts his finger off. That's a little off the wall, but to me, it was just the game you learn to grow up and watch, to love. It's just,
that's true.
Like I said, here's another, just talk about flag football. What do you think of flag football in the 2028 Olympics? What's your take of that?
That'd be great. Hey, that'd be opportunity. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of ex-athletes, NFL athletes, gonna be doing that too.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if you saw the NFL did a commercial. Jalen Hurts basically being the face of the flag football. But if you get it, matter of fact, I'll text it to you. They did a promo like 2 weeks ago where Jalen Hurts is outside the LA Coliseum. He threw the football. The football's in flames and it hits
frying. Yeah.
And it hits the thing and just lights up and
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
A special player. I like Jalen Hurts. He's a special player. That guy, he's the real deal. I wish I had opportunity to have a quarterback like that when I was playing. He's special, man. Those receivers don't understand how special that they have having a quarterback with that nature that can get them that rock in the right places, the right spots, they sweet spots, so they can do their job. And he's one of the special players that can get that ball so they can do that. The organization should be very proud of that young man.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We had, should have beat Kansas City, but 2 years ago. But I think Jalen Hurts is coming in with a chip on his shoulder.
Oh yeah. So what do you think we're gonna finish at this year? What do we think we going all the way?
Okay, I'll take this one because I know Mike answer.
We going all the way?
I think so, but I think we'll do a 14-3. I think we'll get that first round bye. Okay. And I think we'll take it all the way.
It all comes down to everybody staying healthy across the board. 17 weeks.
Absolutely.
That's my take. We could. I'm going to say 12-5.
Yeah, and then we got it. And I love the addition of Barkley too, because I can take a lot of pressure off Jalen.
No doubt.
And also with the addition, hopefully with the addition of who's that Dotson that they got from Washington. I think that's going to help both Devontae and AJ. And like you said, with the addition of Barkley back there, this should be a very potent offense. It really should be. And that's what I'm looking for.
I want to thank Quintina for checking in. Such a great interview. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Okay, Mike, you got another question there because we're hitting that time limit there.
Chris, do you ever come up for the Eagles alumni at all?
Yes, that's one thing I gotta do, Mike. I told Irv and
Hollis.
Yeah, Hollis that, man. I need to do that. That's one thing. I've been through that for treatment reasons, getting patients and going there because we do have a couple of facilities outside of Philly. I've been there to engagements to speak. I'll come there to get executive patient. But I do want to go back and because I haven't been back to the new stadium yet. I want to have the opportunity, to see the fans again and just get us a chance, get a tour around the new stadium, the facilities, to see where it all started when I was there. I was Jeffrey Lewis first draft in '95 when he bought the team from Bremen. So, and that'd be a great, for me and my family to go experience that. That will be a treat for myself and my family.
Because he is in my opinion, a very good owner. know him well and enjoy
He was
him.
first
And,
class with me and my
yes.
family when I had the opportunity of being around him. He treated me with such respect and my family. So he was a great owner. And
Well,
I'm glad that he's having all the success that he's having.
Well, if you decide to come up, hey, I mean, I got your number. You can meet up with Al and I. And
I'm definitely gonna be on the horn with you and Al. Hey,
Yes,
I'm in
sir.
town.
Yes, sir.
I need you guys. I'm coming over. We gotta
All right.
go to the game. We gotta go to the game, baby. I'm gonna kind of come up before it get too cold now.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't want to come there. I ain't been in that cold weather in a long time, Al and Mike.
I hear you. I hear you.
I know you're dealing with it.
I remember Ray Rose used to say, I know you from Florida. Put some red pepper in your shoes. He had me putting red pepper in my shoes. You won't be cold now. He used to say, what the hell? Am I dumb behind putting red pepper in my shoes? Oh my God. The stuff he used to make me do, even for the psychological, to make your mind not feel cold like that. Oh my God.
All right, well.
Put red hot pepper in your shoe. I did it.
And you did it. Huh?
I did it. And I ain't feel cold either.
I hear you. That's the power of mentality.
Yeah. And that one thing, y'all really made my evening. And I really appreciate you guys. I feel blessed to being a part of your show this evening. And I really thank you guys for hosting me.
Well, thanks for coming on the fly. I mean, yesterday reached out to you. Here we are.
Hey, man. Fly, Eagle, fly, baby.
You know, fly, Eagles, fly.
Let's go get it, baby. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Cris T Jones, my co-host, Mike Fuji, for joining us on At the 50 with Fuji and Fleet. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. Have a good day, please.
Have a good week, and go Birds!
Go Birds! Fly, Eagle, fly, baby. Go Canes!
All righty.
Go Birds!
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Deeply appreciate it. They got me fired up, Big L.